Alright, so the hype engine for the Flash movies in full effect. Actual reviews are dropping today, and everyone from Tom Cruise to Stephen King is saying the movie's great. People have actually seen the movie are saying it's great. One of the best comic book movies of all time. So now what do critics think about it? Their reviews are dropping today, and it is, as of this recording, a 72% Rotten Tomatoes, and the critic consensus is the Flash movie, while it plays to too much like a sizzle reel of DC's greatest hits to fully stand on its own 2 feet, the Flash has enough heart and zip to maintain a confident stride. I don't know how many running puns they can put in a consensus, but there you go. A huge highlight reel of all the greatest things DC has done, and still has that emotional story to get you through the movie, which is all I'm looking for. If you're a fan of Flashpoint, you know the core of this movie is going to be about Barry trying to save his mother and stuff. That's where like the connections to Flashpoint really stop, though. And the movie really is its own thing, just inspired by Flashpoint, let's say. But anyway, that's not really what I want to talk about in here. I'm excited to see the movie. I'm going to see it opening night, of course, with the girlfriend, with the baby girl. I have no doubts that I'm going to like it. But what I'm doubting about these review scores is that a lot of these negative reviews bring up Ezra Miller, the actor playing Flash. They bring up his past transgressions, I guess you could say. Past accusations that he was never convicted of. They bring up that in his interviews and say that they can't support a person like this. That's why they're giving the Flash negative reviews. And that's not every negative review, but that is some of them. And I'm willing to bet it's enough of the negative reviews that it would totally change this percentage score, right? This would probably go from a 72% to like an 85% if people weren't against Ezra. And as far as the facts are concerned, Ezra was only convicted of stealing a bottle of liquor from one of his friend's house. He paid a $500 fine for stealing that bottle. And that's it. All these other accusations about him grooming people or kidnapping people was never actually proven. He was never tried over it. He was never charged with anything for that. And a lot of his problems just stem from him, being young and dumb and running into a lot of money. And, thinking he could just, act like a buffoon, at bars and in clubs and stuff. But certainly nothing that would suggest that he's evil, right? So nothing that would suggest Ezra's, a horrible person. But it is amazing to see all the negative reviews, and these reviewers are just going after Ezra. They're not even talking about the movie that much. It's like they were completely checked out of the movie the second it started just because they have a bias against Ezra Miller. And that's fine. You don't have to like, an actor or director, but you gotta separate the art from the artists, right? Take the first Jeepers Creepers movie, for example. I think that movie's fantastic. The one with Justin Long, I think that movie's fantastic. The director is a convicted pedophile, He went to jail for, I think, raping a 14-year-old or something like that. Does that change the fact that Jeepers Creepers is still a good movie? No, not for me. I still think it's a good movie. Because I can separate art from the artist. And what that director of Jeepers Creepers did was way worse than anything Ezra has done. The worst thing Ezra has done was steal a bottle of liquor from somebody's house that he was invited to. And he paid the $500 for the bottle or whatever. That's the worst thing he's been convicted of. Everything else has been baseless accusations that don't have any evidence to support them. Or you'll see a video of Ezra choking some girl, and if you look at the video, she's laughing the whole time as he's doing it, and you only get probably a 10-second clip of that, so we don't even have the full context of that. You never get the full context of anything Ezra did. It's always oh, he threw a chair and it hit some lady in the head. Well, what was the context? Why did he throw the fucking chair? That's what I want to know. And by the way, that thing I'm talking about with the chair, that was dropped by the person who got hit by the chair. So they didn't feel like Ezra was in the wrong enough to actually press charges, That's my 2 cents about this. I'm really hyped for The Flash. I've been wanting to see this movie for a long time. I want to see all the different DC Easter eggs. I know Ezra Miller's a good actor. I've known that since We Need to Talk About Kevin. He's a fantastic actor. He's probably one of the best actors working today. And in this movie, he has to play off himself, which is a very hard thing to do. And apparently he knocks it out of the park. From all the people that are being fair, the reviewers that are being fair and unbiased, they all say that Ezra Miller does a fantastic job. So, this is going to be a really interesting case to see how the audience reacts to Ezra Miller. Because I guarantee you, the majority of the audience that's going to see The Flash has no idea what Ezra has done. Has no idea, Ezra Miller's personal life. Probably movie fans and people that are into pop culture probably have an idea of the Ezra Miller situation. But outside of that, the majority of people, they probably don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how it affects the box office. I really think it's going to be doing a lot better than 70 million opening weekend. It's probably going to be closer to 100 million opening weekend. Probably 100 million plus. Because I think this movie's got to get around 700 million to, start making a profit. So that's a big number. Make sure it has a big opening weekend. It doesn't really have a lot of competition because every other movie coming out around it is looking like a turd. Even Indiana Jones, which is like shocking that Indiana Jones has another turd. James Mangold directed it, and he's a great director, and it just did not work out again for Indiana. But anyway, this is about The Flash. I really hope the movie does good. I would like to see this director get another DC movie. They're saying Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, might be directing the next Batman film, Batman Brave and the Bold, which will tie into James Gunn's wider DC universe. And this Flash movie is the end of the DCEU. It's the reboot point. It's the start of the next chapter of DC, the start of the next universe. So I don't know if they want it to be a monster hit. I mean, I'm sure they'd be happy if the movie made like $1 billion. I'm sure they'd be ecstatic about that. But whether this movie succeeds or not does not change the future course they have with James Gunn and doing Superman Legacy and doing those movies. Because, James Gunn had nothing to do with this Flash movie. This is the old DC regime. This is their Flash. And it looks like it came out pretty well. If you take out the biased reviewers that are against Ezra Miller, if you take their reviews out, overwhelming majority of people are liking this movie. It would probably have, over 80% Rotten Tomatoes if you took out the negative reviews of the biased critics that don't like Ezra Miller. That's the reality right now. But yeah, that's it for now. Comment below. Let me know what you think of The Flash and all the hype it's getting, these review scores, which are still majority positive. It's sitting in the 70 range on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, over 70% of critics are liking it, and they're trying to put their biased hatred against Ezra Miller to the side. But there's definitely a contingent of people that are not, and they can't for whatever reason. And then, of course, you have another contingent that's a very small vocal crowd that just likes Snyder films and doesn't like DC films. They just like Snyder films, so they're going to hate every DC film. That's like 1% of the audience. So that's like 1% of the people watching. There's definitely going to be way more people that are against Ezra Miller. That's what's really going to be affecting things. And I'm interested to see how the next week plays out before this movie comes out. This movie comes out on the 16th. Early screenings are on the 14th and 15th, I think. So it's coming fast. I can't wait. I'll be there night one, and I'll review up that same weekend. Can't wait. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye for now. Comment below. Let me know what you think about all this. I really do think some of these reviewers just can't put their bias against a certain actor to the side and just look at the movie, Judge the movie on its own merits. That's all you gotta do. And a lot of them aren't doing it, so that's, frustrating because it's hard enough to DC to get a good movie out there. And when they do make a good movie, now we gotta deal with some fucking biased reviewers that are judging the movie based off stuff that didn't even happen in the movie, so that's frustrating as well. Anyway, that's it for now. Comment below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.